Okay, so I will be presenting my case 18.2 about caravans. And first slide is explaining the macro environment. And explaining the macro environment around caravans, there are a lot of considerations to make. There are laws, the weather, and financial situation of the consumers. So starting with laws, there are different laws in different countries regarding the height, width, and weight of a caravan, the maximum speed, um, if a person is allowed to stand up or walk around in a caravan whilst driving, which is illegal in every country. Um, and it's also required to have seatbelts for everyone on the caravan, which means that if there's 7 people, there has to be a minimum amount of 7 seatbelts. If we look at the weather, bad weather frightens many campers, making it unattractive for campers to purchase caravans. If there is a long season of bad weather, um, meeting them in other countries, especially because caravans aren't really built for bad weather, hurricanes, floods, etc. And then we have the final financial situation. When it comes to caravans, is a big price range that you can purchase, which I will get into later as well. But it's usually between about 50 to 250,000 Danish kroners, which is very normal. And then we have the buying behavior. Well, some of the buying behaviors for family with children, that they consider is, first of all, it's way more cheaper than going by plane every time you want to go on vacation. And since this is a considered purchase, it takes a lot of thought to actually purchase such an expensive product. Um, Also, the purchase is a want, it's not necessarily a need for people. Families often prefer buying cheap ones, whereas when you're a pensionist and you're kind of just you and maybe your wife or husband or just alone, you can usually buy a bit more expensive one because you don't really have any costs regarding like family. And whilst there are a lot of different ways to make the interior of a caravan, families often prefer some of the bigger ones with bunk beds for children, whereas when you might be an older couple or just an adult couple with no kids, they would prefer maybe a bit bigger living space and bathroom, but only just have like one bed, one shared bed. Um, Also, the purchase of these caravans often fulfills the need of self actualization regarding Maslow's needs pyramid. And to most people, buying a caravan is an investment. So when they buy an expensive caravan, um, it might be expensive at that point, but over time you save money compared to if you wanted to buy a plane ticket. And oh, yes, the competition. So we have 4 different kinds of caravans, or the popular ones are divided into like 4 countries, if you might say. We have the German caravans, which are brands like Hobby and Adria. We have Slovenia and Hungary, which are um, like known for producing kind of similar caravans to Germany but cheaper. And then we have Sweden, which have these really, really expensive caravans, but I will get into that later as well. But like the German caravans often lie between 90 and 130,000 DKK, which is a fairly big amount for a caravan. Although again, most people see it as an investment. Um, Mainly Germany, Slovenia, and Hungary are competitors, whereas Sweden is not really in that competition because Sweden have caravans for about 20 to 200 to 220,000 DKK. So first of all, it's a lot more expensive, but also the caravans are built for cold weather, and it's built for bigger and richer people, if you might say. It has the newest technology. It has insulation to be able to outstand cold weather. It's mostly for people who camp in probably Scandinavia or some colder countries, or if you want to go camping during the winter. And then we had to find 3 different caravan brands and then kind of just analyze the price strategy. So the first one is Jayco, and I just took a random model, the 2020 Wet Hawk SE, and the price is $90,668 dollars. It was supposed to say kroners. Sorry. And the price strategy is it's competition-based pricing strategy. Jayco's prices are reasonable when comparing the prices to the other in the market. It's fairly cheap. It could be more expensive regarding if it was maybe a Kaba. They kind of chose like a middle price. They took like what was in between expensive ones and cheap ones, and then just kind of find like a middle pass. And then continued, we have the Tiffins. I took the model 2020 Wayfarer. It's 145,260 Danish kroners. And their price strategy is they have premium pricing. Their main focus is quality, design, and luxury. Overall, their prices are a lot higher compared to most normal caravan brands and prices. But they also provide RV models, meaning that like it's more of a big auto camper bus rather than just a caravan. But it also provides the consumer with a status, which is why they make more expensive products. And then we have the Airstream. I took the model Caravel. And the price is 60,900. It's considered to be a premium pricing strategy, although the Airstream RV is way cheaper than the Tiffin one, and also smaller. But the Airstream company kind of allows themselves to change more in their values for the customers as they're cheaper. But also, since it's cheap, although it's smaller, the caravans actually last longer and keeps its standards and maintenance higher and longer than other caravans. Okay. Oh. And then we go to the segmentation. I started with a segmentation scheme of the caravan target segment here, just in general. The geographical, the region, domestic and international, doesn't really matter. Density, it's mostly rural. As it's like if you look at it on an average basis, it's cheaper. Well, it could be urban actually as well. Demographic, people between 35, 75. Oh, sorry. It's males and females, mostly people who are married, families, or pensionists. Their income is low to middle and high. Occupation is often employees. Personality, we have budget, meaning that they actually care about what they spend their money on. It is careless, though, in the meaning of people wanting to have this self-actualization and be able to control their own holidays, vacation. And mostly easygoing people, outgoing people, rather than spending your time at a 5-star hotel, you spend your time in a caravan. The social class is working to middle and upper class, depending on what they usually do for vacations and which kind of caravan they buy. And lifestyle is often quality oriented. Then we have the Kaba segment target over here, target segment. Region, domestic, international, density, urban, same age, 35 to 75. Males and females, married with family or pensionist, but their income is middle to high and not low, as it would be too expensive for low income. Occupation employees, personality, they are very quality oriented, careless, and easygoing as the other ones, although they do care about good quality and new technology. They're in working middle and upper class, depending on the salary. Mostly, I would say it's the upper class who buys it, but it could be all three of them. And again, quality oriented. And then we have at last, or not last, self-selected brand. I took Kava as my brand to focus on. And well, Kava differs from a lot of brands as it specializes in caravans that are suited for cold weather, whereas most campers go to warm countries. It's way more expensive than some of the other ones because their price is almost 100,000 Danish kroner higher. But it also is installed with the newest technology and insulation and bigger cabins, bigger beds, and bigger bathrooms. And this would be a very good target for families and pensioners for purchase.